Hi, and welcome to Pegaflood Podcast and Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good. Busy, busy, busy as usual. How about you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm so delighted to have you here. I've been following your journey 2 years now, I think, and I'm really so amazed about the projects that you're doing. You're like in a different league. So I always wanted to have you on the podcast so you can like explain why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and yeah, especially now with everything what's happening with the market, like they're saying that we're going down on a recession and whatever. What's your thoughts? So this podcast or YouTube video will be very, very, very interesting. I have high hopes of you.
No pressure. Thank you. It's great to be here, and I know it's taken us quite a lot of coordination to finally get this dating. We've been trying to arrange this for a while, but yeah, my schedule is rather hectic at the moment. We do tend to have quite a lot on the go. And you said you've been following me for 2 years. That's lovely. Thank you. We actually only started up about 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago, and it has been, quite a whirlwind, getting from there to here. We've grown very quickly. And the motivation for getting into property in the first instance for me was just that mythical thing called passive income, which I haven't yet discovered, I must say. It remains a myth at the moment. It's not actually passive for me right now, but I think that's just because I've branched out into doing lots of other things like mentoring and training and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to be in complete control of my own destiny. I was self-employed before this anyway. I was a private investigator before property, but
Oh.
yeah, a little bit different. But I was still working, under other people's authority. I was, signed up with several agencies and, I had to go there and do what they wanted me to do at that time and blah, blah, blah. And let people know when I wanted to go on holiday, etc. And I'm a bit of a free spirit at heart, and I just like to, do what I want to do when I want to do it. Probably the worst person you could possibly try and employ. Yeah. My teacher actually wrote in my school report, Sarah is like a wave. Don't even attempt to tie down. It's still very much the same. But yeah, I just wanted to be in control of my own destiny. I didn't want to have any limits. I didn't want to have any limits as far as income is concerned or as far as achievements are concerned. And I think going into property is a really, really good way to be able to do that because, it's being in property investment is very lucrative, can be very lucrative if you're following the correct model and doing it right. And one day when I was I was on a private investigation job, on a surveillance job, sat outside somebody's house for 8 hours, waiting for some dodgy bloke to come out, like to film. While I was there, I was listening to an audiobook and it was called Money, and the book was written by Rob Moore. And I listened to that, and that was my real inning into property development. I've always been very entrepreneurial and was very into wealth building and bettering myself in any which way possible. But I didn't realise when I downloaded the book on Audible that it was going to be related to property development. So I then took that further. Within the space of a month, I'd listened to all of Rob Moore's books and Mark Homer's books as well from Progressive Property, his business partner. And then I contacted Rob and I said, I'm a private investigator and I've been listening to your audiobooks while I'm doing surveillance jobs, which he thought was hilarious. And he said, we'll come down to one of our events. So I went down to their multiple streams event, and it was really eye-opening because I suppose, not being from the property world, I just didn't realize how many people were in that space, but when we got there, it was beautiful community of people, all very like-minded, all just wanting to get out of their jobs, do better for themselves, change the world in some way, be able to build an empire so that they can donate it to various charitable causes and help people. And that really resonated with me because money's great, but it's not the be all and end all, and it's nice to be able to have lots of money so that you can help people as well. So I thought, wow, this is it. So me and my husband decided very impulsively to both quit our jobs. So we had no income at all. We spent £50,000 on credit cards on training courses with Progressive. Took a complete leap of faith. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that anybody else should do this. Not a very financially responsible thing to do, especially when we had a house to pay for and 2 kids to pay for. But for me, I just knew that if I'm very much an all or nothing kind of person, and to focus on something wholeheartedly, that needs to be the focus. So I just cut everything else and thought, no, let's throw ourselves into this. So we did. That was in June 2018. By September 2018, we had purchased our first holiday home, Aysgarth Nook in the Yorkshire Dales, and didn't quite realise how lucrative it was going to be until we'd actually finished it. So we had a management company that came round to look after that one initially. And when they came round, we'd hired cottages in the Yorkshire Dales before with our friends. And we thought, oh, we'll probably get about £800 a week for it. Excellent. And the lady came round and she was like, well, you're looking at least £1,500 a week in low season. And we were like, wow, that's amazing. Minds were blown and we thought, oh, it's never going to sell at that price. So they put it on online, and within 3 days they phoned me and said, you're getting too many bookings, we need to put your prices up. And now that same 5-bedroom cottage in the Yorkshire Dales averages about £3,500 a week.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's bonkers. So when we did that, of course, at that point we were absolutely hooked. So then we bought one in Harrogate, we bought one in York. It was just a 4-bed flat in Harrogate, a townhouse in York, which was amazing. I mean, that one, as far as returns are concerned, was magnificent. We bought it for 450,000, spent 88 on the refurb, and then we got it revalued at 975 grand. So we basically added 1,000 in value with an £88,000 refurb. And again, our minds were completely blown. And, you know, that would rent out for up to £1,800 a night in the centre of York. So obviously, depending on, and it's not that much in low season midweek. It's about £750, £800 a night, but it's still, you know, it's a lot of money. So yeah, and we've just continued since then. And I'm very much somebody who likes to bring everybody with me. You know, I love success, but I like to share the success. So I kind of naturally morphed into a mentor then. I had a few people asking me, you know, could they book a consultation with me? Could I give them some advice? And although training and standing up in front of a room full of people was always my worst nightmare because I was terrified of public speaking, I thought, you know what, I have actually got really good information here and I need to get it out to people. So I'm going to get over myself and I'm going to just do this.
Conquer your fears.
Yeah. So I remember the first time I had to go for a mentoring session with them, even though this was just a one-to-one, so the public speaking didn't come into it. I just had this real serious fear of not giving them everything they wanted, you know, just a little bit of imposter syndrome, I'd say. I'm really worried that, you know, they were paying me an amount of money for this day with, oh my God, this is terrifying. What if I don't give them everything I want? What if they don't like me? What if, you know, and 10 minutes in, absolutely loved it. They're mine, you know, that person. That was Vicky Miller, actually. She was my first mentee. And she's just come on board with me now to be my first official coach working.
Oh, wow.
So she's done really well for herself. And she's going to be working with me now to do entry-level training for people who want to come along and follow our model. So
congrats.
So yeah.
So I have a question. How did you just end up starting with high end? What did your
honestly, this is because I don't know why, because I was born on the roughest council estate in Leeds and grew up in a single parent family on a council estate, but I just really like nice things. I've just got maybe
you're expensive.
Maybe I'm a bit above my station, whatever. but I just like nice things. I like luxury living. And so I always think now I want to go on holiday to somewhere that's at least as nice as my own home. And I think a lot of other people want that as well. So when we first did Aysgarth Nook, I wanted to do it to my standard because I thought we'll do Aysgarth Nook, we'll rent it out, but also we'll go stay in it with our friends and family. So we really went to town with the furnishings in there. You know, we all Hulster for the bedroom furniture, which I don't know if you know Hulster, but it costs a bloody arm and a leg. And then Heels, Caligari, Spoke Concept, all the most high-end, you know, furniture departments that you can find. You know, we furnished the property fully with those things. So it cost a lot of money, but it looks blooming fabulous. And, you know, that's what makes it stand out.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of people who also want to go somewhere gorgeous, especially now that, you know, social media is, you know, everybody's world. People live on social media. So when they arrive at their nice holiday home, they want to take fabulous photos of themselves and put them all over Instagram. They want to show people what a luxury lifestyle that they're leading for that week or that few days in this place. They want to show people how fabulous they are for being there, which is great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. They don't want to show pictures of themselves in a skanky cottage with some furniture that looks like it's been passed down from somebody's recently departed grandmother, you know. If you look on Airbnb and you look at booking.com, that's what quite a few of them do look like. They look like, that furniture's been sat in the garage for 10 years since granddad died. So let's shove it in this holiday home, you know. That's kind of very old school mentality, but fortunately for us, but unfortunately for a lot of people, that's what they're you know, and it's not good. Our clients, we have a lot of high net worth clients, we have celebrity clients, and they want to book somewhere beautiful, you know. They might book a really high-end hotel, or they might book our places. They're certainly not going to be in the market for somewhere that's a bit scruffy and damp. So it's just, and the other thing as well is, you know, going for that market, you've always got a customer base there. People are wealthier than they've ever been, but also people have got higher standards, and people at that level are less likely to be affected by economic changes. So that market is always there. And also, you know, with sort of high net worth clients, they take several holidays a year. It's not just that they've got one family holiday a year. They go abroad a couple of times and stay in the UK for several staycations as well. You know, so
then we can move into that. So do you even prepare for the cost of living crisis, or you just go as you just mentioned, as they take several holidays, so you're not concerned?
No, there is a cost of living crisis, obviously, and that's going to affect a lot of people, but people will always still want holidays, you know. They will always want holidays, you know, when it's a bit doom and gloom, when there's a recession on, when everyone's a bit, you know, all this, that, and the other. What does everybody want to do to cheer themselves up? Go away for the weekend with a bunch of friends. Book a fabulous Maison Parfaite holiday home to do that in, you know. So no, I'm not worried. Obviously, our expenses are going to go up, and some especially on our bigger properties, our, you know, utility bills are quite substantial as they are. So we're doing what we can. We do have all of our sustainability accreditation, so we do what we can to reduce, you know, our carbon output as it is.
So do you put that on the on the customer then? Do you have your prices going up because of the utility bill?
No, our prices haven't gone up. I think we were actually probably one of the only companies in the UK who didn't put our prices up last year as well, you know, when it all opened up and everybody hiked their prices up. Hey, customers, you know, because there was some desperation for people to book holiday homes in the UK because they couldn't go abroad. I think we were one of the only companies who didn't do that. So we haven't put our prices up. We do have a small year-on-year increase of 5%, which happens every year, but we haven't put them up anymore because of the fuel price increases. So, you know, we still want to be affordable, you know, to people. So we don't want to outprice them. And the price levels that we're at the moment, do cover that.
Yeah, and let's say, and during the pandemic, when you were having lockdowns, was it still going well, or were you struggling?
No, it wasn't going well at all. It was going really badly.
Yeah.
So, we are not, our properties are not appealing to the sort of corporate market, really, unless you're very, very high-end corporate. So we didn't get any bookings during lockdown at all. We couldn't, because they were all leisure bookings. All our, the majority of our bookings are leisure bookings. The only one booking that we did get was for 3 weeks in York, and we had a celebrity client stay because they were filming in York. So she booked it out for a full 3 weeks. But other than that, no, it was terrible. We had to, the first lockdown, we had to refund 125 grand overnight. And, then through the whole of COVID, just to keep us afloat, we had to take bounce back loans, borrow extra money on bridging finance because our outgoings were so high. Our mortgages, bills, staffing costs, and all that jazz. We're totaling nearly 100 grand a month, and we had no income. So it put us into a bit of a precarious situation, because at that point we were still very young. I mean, we're still a young company now, really. We'd grown drastically. We were doing refurbs. We had 9 refurbs ongoing through COVID. 4 of them were ours, and 5 of them were for other investors, and we'd agreed to do their refurbs for them. And it was a nightmare, because suddenly refurbs that would have taken us 3 months were taking us 9-12 months to complete. Costs went through the roof, so we had all those extra outgoings there as well that we weren't expecting. So just to get through COVID alone, we had to borrow an extra 1.2 million.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
But we came through it. I was confident that we'd be able to recoup that when we came through it. Because building and we were growing all at the same time, so we knew that we had, as soon as COVID left the building, we knew that we had we had new properties to release at that stage, and that we were going to recoup it. So that's an ongoing process. We're still paying that off now in chunks each month, but it's going down, and while income's going up and up and up. So we are, at the end of the day, I feel very blessed.
You should.
It was a huge challenge.
I mean, you made it through. I mean, you made it through, obviously. So good on you for keeping it up. I mean, some people would have been broken, and but you kept it through. I can just imagine the stress level during that period.
It was terrible, and I did have a bit of a nervous breakdown, if I'm honest, and had to take myself out of the situation for a while. I am very much into alternative medicine rather than modern medicine, so I took myself off to an Ayurveda centre for a week, and I just did nothing other than meditate, do yoga, and have various Ayurvedic treatments for the whole week, and I came back renewed.
A new Sarah.
But until that, I had it had all culminated, and we were at Robin Hood's Bay, and this refurb, we'd had to stop it for 2.5 months, halt it for 2.5 months, to try and get the other refurbs done for other investors that we'd agreed to do. And we already had bookings pre-booked in, and the first person that we had booked in to stay there was a man who was terminally ill. And he was coming with his family for his last family holiday before he passed on.
Wow.
So we had massive pressure to get it ready for him. And it was just a nightmare. It was just an absolute nightmare. And it wasn't really ready for him. And it caused all sorts of issues. And the day that he arrived, the glass roof for the conservatory, for this extension, we had a lantern roof, and it hadn't arrived. It was on a COVID delay, and the window people had told us to just put a corrugated conservatory roof on it for now, which we did. There was a massive rainstorm, the roof bowed in, and the roof collapsed, and it fell through. all over, all the furniture and everything. So we had to delay the man coming and ring him up and ask his wife to like delay him arriving by a couple of hours so that we could try and get it, habitable for them. And then she'd had to pull over and basically resuscitate him at the side of the road because he wasn't able to plug his machine in, because he wasn't able to arrive on time. So this was horrendous. She arrived absolutely fuming, obviously, in tears. It was just awful. We gave them a full refund and we gave them another holiday. And I mean, they still stayed there. We managed to sort it out that day and get it habitable for them again. A lot of drying out of the cushions on the sofa, etc. But we gave them the holiday for free, gave them a full refund and gave them another holiday. And they were happy. But my God, my nerves were absolutely shot to pieces by that stage. And it was just like, I'd never been like that before. But you can just imagine that was just one of the 9 that I had ongoing at the time. And what that taught me was, firstly, never make yourself available to do refurbs for other people. Because I would have only had 4, not 5, not 9. And also outsource more. So, that encouraged me to, to bring more people onto the team, stop taking everything onto my own shoulders, which I was pretty much doing at the time.
So basically, now you don't do people's refurb now.
Oh, no.
Nope, I'm done.
Don't ask me. Don't even go
so
there.
You hear that, listeners and viewers. He's not doing refurbs. So damn.
Never gonna happen. Definitely not. So, I mean, we do still source property for other people, but we don't go near the refurbs. It's just it is the most stressful part. I think people when they're first starting out, they think, oh God, raising investor finance, that's going to be so difficult. That's so difficult. I can tell you, raising investor finance is the easiest bit. The most difficult bit is the refurb. Handling trades teams. Sometimes it's like herding cats, trying to get people onto site and getting them to do what you want to do, and it is a challenge. So 1 on its own challenge, 9 on its own is a nervous breakdown, as proven by moi.
So I know maybe you're a bit biased on this question. So do you just suggest people to start that like the luxury end instead of normal buy-to-let
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got some buy-to-let properties. When we first started, we did buy a buy-to-let and then we bought a HMO, and then we bought them 2 earlier in the year before we'd even gone to progressive, just after reading the books. And that, I've got a couple of buy-to-lets now from houses that I've moved out of and never sold, but they're just not very lucrative. They're just not, you can do a lot of work. So one of my mentees, they've just purchased their first big serviced accommodation property, under my wing and following our model. And that one property, which they're going to convert into 5 small apartments, that's going to net them £13,000 a month. So that's one property net income, £13,000 a month. We calculated that in their area where they're buying that, if they wanted to do buy-to-lets to cash flow the same amount, they'd have to buy 68. So
wow,
a choice. You can do one 6-month renovation project and change your life in one fell swoop, or you can do 68 buy-to-lets, which is going to take you many years to do, and a lot more, a lot more stress with all those refurbs. So that's why I don't recommend buy-to-lets. And that's, there's lots of other serviced accommodation models. There's contractor level, there's rent-to-rents, there's all sorts of things. And again, they're just not that profitable. Rent-to-rent, I think, can be quite dangerous. Some people have come to me for mentorship when they've already got a rent-to-rent portfolio. And, some of them are doing very nicely out of that, and good for them. But I have seen instances quite a few instances where the landlords want the properties back. So you've spent some money, you've jazzed it all up, it looks fabulous, and now the landlord wants to sell it because you've added value to the property. Or they want to do it themselves, so they want it back because you've given them the idea and you've done the property up for them. I've also seen the flip side, one of my mentees had 47 rent-to-rent houses, and when she came to me, I didn't realise, but she had most of them rented out to the same contracting firm all the time. The contracting firm went bust. So overnight, she ended up in a £20,000 per month deficit against her rent bills.
Wow.
So she was in a really, really bad way with that. You know, she'd gone from making a 20 grand a month profit to a 20 grand a month loss.
Yeah.
Overnight, you know. So it's just,
Yeah.
it can be a bit precarious because obviously your rental bills are always more expensive than mortgages. So she'd have been on mortgages at that point, you know, they would have still been a deficit, but not as much. And I think that brings me on to the next point of, you know, contractor level serviced accommodation. Firstly, the profits are just not the same. You know, the prices that you're renting out per night are very low. The cleaning costs and everything, they'll still pretty much cost you the same. And at the lower end, well, you're much more likely to have your properties trashed quite frequently. So, you know, we've never had a property trashed. We've had an occasion once where somebody sat on a floating cabinet in Aysgarth Nook and pulled it off the wall. And somebody else put a pan. So it was a £7,000 Hulster cabinet on the wall. Somebody just sat on it, pulled it off. They do. When drunk, yeah. And then somebody else had put a burning hot pan onto a Heels dining chair, a velvet one. So, you know, but the fact is that these people, you know, didn't just scamper and run off into the moonlight and they were gone. They actually paid for the damage, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, managed to recoup the costs. Other than that, we've not had anything. Obviously, you get people breaking glasses and things, which we don't charge them for. We don't try and chase people for in a glass when they've spent thousands of pounds to stay there. It's, you know, that's just, you know, the nature of the beast. These things happen.
Yeah. Okay. I totally understand now. So, are you on other sites than the normal?
We're on all the usual. We're on booking.com, Airbnb. We get the majority of our bookings through booking.com. Then we get in a good portion now of direct bookings. So we get about 30% direct bookings. And then we get we get a few from Airbnb. Depending on which property it is, but we're really trying to move more now into the direct bookings market. So we're doing things like, for instance, if somebody books direct now, they get a fabulous hamper on arrival. So we've always given people a welcome gift. So they always get a bottle of Prosecco and they get milk in the fridge and a few other bits and pieces. But we're taking this to the next level, but only for direct bookings. So the book direct, they'll arrive, and on arrival, they'll get a fabulous big hamper. So if they book our place in York, they'll get a huge hamper, loads of fabulous goodies in there. And then if they don't book direct, they'll get a bottle of Prosecco with a card saying, you know, thank you for your booking and here's a gift. Next time if you book direct, you'll get this fabulous hamper too, you know.
Smart.
Yeah.
So I think I noticed that you have dining options.
We do.
Why do you have that? And like, can you explain?
Yeah, well, that actually started, just after COVID, actually. You know, when people were allowed to go on holiday in small groups, but in restaurants, you couldn't sit together.
No.
Like you might have two families that were allowed to go on holiday together, but in a restaurant, you couldn't get a table for 10. So what we did was we started chatting with a few private chefs so that we could bring them in our bigger properties so that people who couldn't actually go book a table for 10 in a restaurant could sit and have a meal together in the privacy of their own holiday home, prepared and presented by private chefs instead. So that's where that started. But it's been really popular and it's still very popular now. So we get a lot of people booking our holiday homes for special events, you know, 60th birthdays, 40th, 30th, or high-end hen do's, or even wedding parties. And so, you know, they'll often want to book a private chef as well. So we do, you know, we offer private chefs, we offer cocktail masterclass evenings as well, and also in-house spa services, or anything really that our guests want to book. We will, you know, we'll source it and find it and book it for them. So what we wanted to do was to give the service that you get in a 5-star hotel, but within the privacy of your own holiday home.
Wow. It's like when I'm listening to this, it's like, what is his name now? The guy who presented the rich and this guy who present all of the rich people's house and etc. Oh, I forgot his name. I think you know who I mean, right?
I don't know. I don't have time to watch TV.
No, but it was like before. I don't have time as well, but before when I was younger, I used to look at them. But yeah, I
Oh,
forgot the name. But
was it Through the Keyhole? Oh no, was it that? No, something else.
no, it
That was
was
probably
something
when I
else.
was younger. That was a long time ago.
I think he goes to like celebrities' houses, and then the rich. The name is like the rich and something, but I don't remember. But never mind. I think the listeners or the viewers know who I'm talking about. I don't even remember his name, but yeah. So how important is marketing? Do you suggest?
Oh, marketing is really important. I mean, we're very, very heavily investing now, in marketing. So we're not actually going to buy any more properties this year. We're having a bit of a break now, and we've got some in the pipeline that are going through the purchase that will complete next year. But for the rest of this year, we're really focused on the marketing. So we're just having a new website built, which will launch early December. We're having all new photography, videography. We're really heavily investing in that. And then we've also got, we'll be setting up a new marketing team, as well as investing a lot of money into paid advertising through Google and all the social media channels. That's going to be a very, very heavy investment, probably make most people's toes curl. But it's going to be well worth it for us, because we're at that stage now where we pay such a lot of money to OTAs like booking.com, that we might as well try and, keep those commissions for ourselves. Let's invest it into marketing now, build a database of loyal customers, and we've got that to work with forevermore then. So we really want to switch that. So at the moment, 30% direct booking, 60% to booking.com. We want to switch that around within a year and have it the other way around, 60% direct bookings. Within 18 months, have it 80% direct bookings. But the way to do that is through marketing. So we'll heavily invest now to recoup the benefits in the future.
Yeah, that leads me into power team. How important is the power team when you're running this high end?
Very, very important. Absolutely. It's so we've just we've really taken the big guns on now. So we've got new senior management members in-house now who have got a lot of experience. So our CMO now, he's worked as CMO for Hilton Hotels.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and our chief of operations, she's been general manager at the Belfry Hotel before, and other very, very high-end hotels. So we knew that we needed to grow now, and for rapid expansion, we needed to get the right bums on the right seats, in our core team, in our power team. So we've got we had our previous kind of senior management level, and now their management, and we've got a new senior management level in place, to make sure that we've got the structure there to support this huge growth, and we've got the right people with the right ideas who know what they're doing, because I suppose I had the realization sometime last year, and I thought, holy hell, how did I get here? One minute I was a private investigator sat in my car, and the next thing I own this big company, and it is quite a company. Operationally, it's huge. There's a lot to do. And I thought, God, I am not qualified to do all this.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes,
I'm the visionary. I'm the visionary. I'm the financial strategist. That's what I'm really good at. But operationally, to run all this and to manage all these people, I mean, just the team of cleaners that we've got is huge.
Oh yeah.
Maintenance teams, the new development teams, all the finance, everything, and obviously then the sales and reservation suite, everything. It's just there's a lot to do. And I thought, well, obviously I'm not entirely qualified to do that role, but secondly, I cannot wear all those hats. I cannot do all that. You know, I need to be, you know, out there looking for the next deal, making the plan, seeing where we're going to go next, and leading the company. So I need those other people at the, you know, that very high level. And let's not mess about and get people in who are not at that high level. Let's just go for it. We want to be great. We want to be brilliant. So let's get the greatest, most brilliant people in that we can find.
Yeah, smart of you that you could put your ego at the side and just delegate to other people, because that can sometimes be like someone's hurdle, you know, because they're like, oh, I need to have all the hats.
Yeah, no, that's it. People often do that. A lot of my mentees struggle with that. And, you know, one of the first things I always tell people to do, sometimes even before they've bought a property, is take somebody on. Just take somebody on part-time. They can be doing your property sourcing. They can be filling in financial applications, all this kind of stuff, so that you can be going out there and dealing with the bigger picture stuff. You know? Yeah.
So how is the as you have so big margins in the high end, do you need to have, like, you know, a big occupancy level? Like if we compare to normal essay, they usually say, oh, you need to be around 50% to break even, or you know what I mean?
We base our occupancy levels when we're doing a new project, and, you know, first year projections, we project 58% occupancy. So we'll always be very profitable at 58% occupancy. Otherwise, we won't touch it. We won't do the deal if it's not going to, you know, do that. So we're aiming for 70% occupancy in the second year. You know, obviously this has been skewed slightly with COVID happening. So this year is the first year really that most of our properties have had a fair crack of the whip, as it were. So it's like a first year for them all. Next year we'll be aiming for the 70% occupancy. It may be even higher, you know, with all the input into the marketing, but 70% occupancy will be absolutely, you know, very, very well. We'll be doing very nicely. If we're occupancy.
I can just imagine.
Yeah, we don't need to be 90% occupied. And, you know, I'd rather have a property that's, you know, we're charging a higher rate and it's not 90% occupied, because that gives you time to get maintenance in, to make sure it's perfect all the time, gives the property a chance to breathe, you know, between guests. Really deep clean, you know, when you need to do one, and, you know, just it's otherwise, if you've just got people in back to back, one after the other constantly, you know, you're getting all that wear and tear. You've got lower prices, so you're not making as much money. You're better off increasing your prices and just having, you know, balancing it a little bit.
Yeah. So what should you be aware of when you're doing essay? Like, this is like the tips section.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you know what? There's such a lot to be aware of, like there is in any kind of property investment or any investment whatsoever. But I'd say what you need to make sure that you do is get it right from the start. You know, when we you know, started out, I know that we were being, you know, we had some support from Progressive and we'd done some learning with Progressive, but they weren't even teaching this level of essay at the time. So there were a lot of things that we didn't know. There were a lot of mistakes that we made, particularly around setting up and the, you know, the structure of the companies, because they're a serviced accommodation or furnished holiday lets, as your accountant will call it, is completely different from a tax perspective to any other type of property investment. And there are certain ways to set it up. There are lots of things that are different. And also things like, you know, you've got to go on business rates rather than council tax. You can get business rates relief, but you have to structure the whole business in a specific way to qualify for those things. And if you don't do it correctly, it will cost you a lot of money in the long run. You know, you account for VAT as well, because it's a VATable business, not unlike buy-to-lets. And again, you know, if you structure it correctly, then you're gonna minimize your VAT as well. So, you know, it comes down to getting the right advice from word go and making sure that you set it up correctly in the first instance, you know. So
what are your plans moving forward? I know you touched some bits of it, but like, where will I see you in let's say 2 to 5 years?
all over the place. And we've
Taking over UK.
taken over the world.
Oh, wow. You're going international now as
Well,
well.
no, I'm not sure yet. We've got a few plans, we've got a few ideas, but really what we want to focus on for, first and foremost is we'd like Maison Parfaite to become a recognised household brand. So there are no known holiday home brands really. There are, there's hotel chains like Hilton and Malmaison, etc. And there are management companies like Sykes Cottages and cottages.com, but there are no known holiday home brands out there that are really big, really recognizable. So we'd like to, we'd like to lead the way there and become well known, become independent from the online travel agents, and just get it out there to everybody so that we'll be.
Yeah, I think you're gonna tick that box, and it will be very, very interesting to see the journey. It will be delightful.
It's
So
exciting.
I have two questions that I always ask my guests.
Okay.
So if you had unlimited funds, who would you have as a mentor?
Ooh, that's a question, isn't it? Who would I have as a mentor with unlimited funds? Oh, I don't know. Madonna.
Madonna. Oh, wow. Why? Why Madonna?
Just because she's just such a powerful, powerful woman, and she's got such an amazing level of perseverance. She's managed to push her way through so much adversity. She's a changeling. She's recreated herself umpteen times over. And I think she's an absolute force to be reckoned with. I think I'd be slightly terrified of her, to be honest. She is quite scary, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
What an inspirational woman she is, and I'd just love to chat to her and hear her tales and stories. Yeah.
So, and then my second question is, if you could recommend a book, and it can be business, property, personal development. What book or books would you recommend?
Right. So, I mean, I've listened to and read so many self-development and wealth-building books over the years, and a lot of them are very popular that other people recommend all the time. Anything by Napoleon Hill and Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, blah, blah, blah. People have heard of those. But there's one in particular that I really love, and it's called Spiritual Economics, and it's by a man called Eric Butterworth. Now, it's basically, I've listened to it quite a few times over now on Audible, and it just makes you feel like there is no need for scarcity at all, and that you're always completely supported, and that everything is always there for you all of the time. And it really does make you feel that. Now it was written a few years ago, and there's quite a few references in the beginning when he's talking. It's kind of quite biblical, and he's references God a lot, but I suppose, in this day and age, somebody's God is somebody else's universe, is somebody else's being, is somebody else's, higher being, or whatever you want to call it. But it just really, really does connect you and makes you feel connected to that source.
Okay, I'm gonna download that one. Spiritual Economics, right?
Spiritual Economics. It's nice and easy to listen to as well. Some people have got really good information, but not so easy to listen to. I find Joe quite difficult to listen to. It's very monotone and it's all quite scientific. But he's brilliant, but I do find him difficult to listen to. But this book, Spiritual Economics, it's just really nice, easy to listen to, and it just makes a lot of sense, and it just makes you think, oh yeah, sometimes you're just having the week and you think, oh God, everything's going wrong. That refinancing coming through on time. Am I going to have enough money to do this? That the investor's not coming with that money yet, and they're going to pull out. Oh my goodness, and you feel like you're just having a really bad week financially. Just listen to that, and you think, oh, it's all fine. It's all just there for me, and it just you know, it resets you, puts you in a better space. Once you're in that zone, then you're in the zone of acceptance and allowance, and you can allow that, you know, you can allow the floodgates to open and the funds to flow in. So yeah,
I'm definitely gonna listen to that one because refinance is so stressful sometimes. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's very stressful. It's very stressful. And there is, I'll just give you another recommendation as well, which I
Yes.
tell all of my mentees to do this, and I do it every morning. And some people must think I'm completely bonkers because I do it in the car when I'm driving sometimes. And it's Wayne Dyer's Meditations for Manifesting. And it's a
Okay.
chanting meditation. And seriously, if you do this on a morning, you will just manifest what you want. It sounds completely and utterly bonkers, and some of my friends in property were completely against anything like this, and you know, say, "Oh, Sarah, that's a load of rubbish. I'm not going to get involved in that." And then they're having a really bad time, and then they contact me. This happened the other day. One of them contacted me and said, "Okay, give me the meditation. I'm going to try it." And he tried it the other day, and that afternoon raised £400,000 that he needed.
What? I need
Yeah.
to try
You need to
it.
try it. Everybody should do it. It's Wayne Dyer's Meditations for Manifesting. There's a morning chanting meditation. There's an evening, which is the manifesting one. There's an evening one as well, which just sends you off to sleep nicely. It you know, removes the clutter from your mind and gives you a bit of
Yeah.
peace. You can go to sleep without a worrying mind. But yeah, the morning one is terrific. And yeah, so if you ever drive past this car with this weird woman inside chanting away to herself very loudly, that's probably me. Probably me. Yeah.
Sarah, this has been amazing. I'm so happy that that we could do this episode after back and forth with the schedules.
Yeah.
Uh, is there anything you want to give to the listeners beside your details, obviously, and how they can reach you and etc.?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I have also got a free Facebook group that you can join, which is Essay Mastery with Sarah McDermott. So you can come on there completely for free, get loads of hints and tips, and you can chat to other people who are doing it as well. It's nice to be in a lovely community. You can email me, Sarah at maison-parfait.com. And you can also go onto my website, Sarah McDermott Limited, and I'll be hosting a 2-day event in January next year at the Queen's Hotel in Leeds, which is a real sort of introduction to essay, and we'll uncover a lot of secrets for people there. But yeah, that's it. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, please do. I'm always happy to chat and meet new people and you know, do what I can to encourage people in the right direction.
Thank you very much. So you hear, listeners and viewers, there's her details, and I appreciate it that you took your time. And I'm gonna end it with, like I always do, don't be stressed. Invest, people.
Hey.